Good morning. Good morning. I'm hoping that we're in the absolutely right place to be, doing our little chat this morning. I'm just having a look. Yes. So it's saying on my phone that we are in the right place. So that's awesome. Phew. Thank God for that. Technological nightmares this morning. So, hello everybody. I'm Anita and I'm a life coach and business mentor, and I'm coming at you live on this lovely Tuesday morning during the half-term week. So, hopefully, you're all surviving the first couple of days of half-term, juggling businesses and juggling family as well. Now, as you all know, unless you haven't been following me or haven't been listening, I obviously run the Business Lounge, which is a not just networking business support group for local business owners in the Kent region at the moment, but that will change very, very soon. And I have wonderful guest speakers every single month that come along and, share their wisdom, share what it is that they do, and how they can offer value and how they can help you in business and obviously in life as well. I'm very fortunate that I do happen to have absolutely some of the best people in their industries that are coming along to speak at the Business Lounge. More details will follow in the comments below. I'll put a little link so that you can point if you want to join us on next Friday, a week on Friday. But in the meantime, I'd like to introduce my guest speaker for June, the wonderful Alison Wright. So Alison, would you like to tell the lovely people who you are and what do you do?
Morning all. As Anita said, my name's Alison Wright and I'm a wealth management specialist as my proper title. In effect, it means I offer bespoke, quality, tailored, honest and transparent financial advice across the board to individuals and, of course, business owners. My goal really is to help them perhaps defuddle some of the mysteries around financial planning and make sure they're on track and can achieve their goals to sit alongside their sort of family lives, personal lives, business lives. Of course, always careful of keeping the taxman friendly, but making sure we use allowances and really just educating and empowering people to make the right decisions as far as their finances are concerned.
Okay. So with regard to especially obviously our audience at the Business Lounge are business owners. So what are you going to be bringing along to the Business Lounge? What are you going to be presenting on? How are you going to be helping them?
Well, what I'm going to do is go through a number of areas that I think all business owners should consider with regard to their finances to protect them and their businesses, also to make use of any and all tax advantages that are available, and also to look towards an efficient exit strategy, because I guess not all of us are going to work until the day we drop. So at some point we'll want to leave our businesses, and it's looking at ways in which that can be managed effectively, efficiently, to get the right end goal.
Yeah, sure.
So
do you find that when...
Sorry.
That's fine. Carry on, Alison. Sorry.
I was going to say lots and lots of ideas about really how to make the business work for you. I know we work for our businesses very, very hard, but we need to get some rewards back out of those business in financial terms, and not just the now, but say the future as well, when you're looking perhaps to step down from the businesses. And just ways in which we can do that, of course, without breaking the back of the business itself, because that would be no point. But how just with the finances and various other things like protection for business owners as well. How would the business survive without you or without another key worker? So those sort of areas as well.
I think they're really important, really, really important. Obviously, we both work with business owners, and quite often people are working all day. They're working long hours, especially for some of the trades people that I know and some of the service-based industries. They're out there and they're doing sort of long days, and then they get back in the evening and have a ton of paperwork to do, and then they just absolutely flake out on the sofa because they're shattered. They've then got to get up and do it the next morning. So they're on this hamster wheel of work, bringing in the money, work. But very, very often they don't plan. They don't plan for retirement. Retirement, like, what's that? When is that ever going to happen? And they don't, as you said, they don't plan for, for the future, when they think maybe what if they can't work? What if something happens to them that they can't work?
Yeah. Also, if there's any lead times in business, it's great if everything's going well and the income's coming in, your invoices are being paid on time, etc. But if you have a bit of downtime, either because for some reason there's a gap in business, and that happens to all of us from time to time, it's how do you protect your own financial security during leaner times? Or if you were ill, or just had to step back from the business for some reason. Even holidays, I think self-employed, we do only get paid when we work. So if you want to have a well-deserved holiday, you're going to need to make sure that perhaps staff are still paid if you're employing people, and your household bills can be paid, just so that you can step away and perhaps have a well-earned break. So it's just covering absolutely everything.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really it's kind of scary sometimes when we kind of sit there, especially when you hit, like, your mid-40s, like myself and many other people that I know, and you just think, oh my God, where's the time going? In 20 years, I'm going to be in my 60s. Will I still be wanting to work as much as I'm working now? Will I be able to work as much as I'm working now? But equally, to make I think one thing that's really important now is for people to make their money work for them. And very interestingly, as you said recently when we were together, people do have this perception that, to talk to somebody like you, they need to have tens of thousands of pounds to invest or in the bank, and obviously you're going to make sure that people know differently.
That's right. I mean, yes, my job is to get them to have the tens and tens of thousands in the bank, but doing it in a constructive and well planned way, and looking at the way that sometimes your personal finances have to be separate from your business finances, and sometimes they should be joined. And I'll perhaps cover off some of the differences with regards to that as well, because it can be a bit sort of all mushed together, which is not particularly helpful on either side on occasion. There needs to be some distinct differences, I think, and parameters between your personal investments, savings, just income and outgoings versus those of the business. Because I think there is a danger sometimes, particularly if you are self-employed, is that everything you earn comes into your pot. But there might be reasons to sort of allocate it differently. In terms of amounts, I don't really have a minimum. I'm always happy to have a free, no obligation chat with people and just see where they are. Unfortunately, sort of money has become a bit of a dirty word, and we do all get terribly British about not wanting to talk about it, which means that it gets ignored, but ignore it at your peril sometimes. Some people have the luck of I don't know what and manage to get through life without any sort of planning, and just literally as they go, they just carry on and everything seems to be great. But that's all right for some people, but it's certainly not ideal. That is definitely more luck than judgment, and I think it's much better. We plan our businesses, we plan how we can work our business day, so let's plan everything else alongside it. And it needn't be arduous, it needn't be torturous. All I ask really is for perhaps an hour of somebody's time just to go through things with me, and then it's my role to go away and help them structure things. And it is going to be different for everybody because no two people are the same, so it is all about bespoke advice, making sure it's in keeping with what they want to do, the way their business is, the way their personal lives are, and what their end goal is. If they're looking at retiring earlier rather than later, or the other way around, then all that has to be taken into account.
Yeah, definitely. I think as well, when it comes to, as you said, when it comes to money, people, money is a dirty word, and and people sometimes feel awkward about talking about how much money they have or they haven't got. Well, quite often people are quite happy to boast that they haven't got a lot of money, or they can't afford to retire. And they kind of, sometimes I've noticed it with conversations I've had in the past where people are quite, they're quite almost boastful about the fact that, they haven't done any planning and they're not that worried because what will be. And, and again, when you're, a business owner, that's a really, really scary sort of way to live your life, especially when you get to the stage, as I've just said, that a lot of us are, where, hitting sort of mid-40s, midlife, And I
Yeah.
know you've often spoken about ladies, especially for women. I don't want to single out the men here, but if we're just talking about women, a lot of women have had it where they haven't had to control the purse strings, so to speak, or they haven't, or as you rightfully said recently, ladies that suddenly find themselves, divorced later on in life.
Or widowed, or
widowed, yeah, and they're on their own.
Out of choice. It's it's that, given that financial independence. I mean, financial matters are very personal, which is where I think a bit of the stigma comes in, and people are worried about talking about it in case they think they've got it wrong up till now. I don't see it in judgment. We are where we are with everybody, and many of them haven't got it wrong. I mean, also I appreciate that in a world we're living in now, when financial advice or general information is much more widely available, that everyone has probably had some advice along the way, whether it be from a bank or building society employee, a concerned friend, or of course an actual financial advisor. And it's just making sure that whatever plans they've put in place are still relevant, because reviewing is just important as initial planning, making sure that you remain on track. So with all of my clients, I will look to review them at least once a year. Quite often it is more frequent than that. So I think where I do sort of stand out is that personal touch, where you don't get rid of me. Some people like it or not, you don't get rid of me once you become a client. Is that we do need to make sure that we're continuing reviewing and reassessing, monitoring, and if necessary changing some of the planning we've put in place, because it might not be relevant if you have a change in lifestyle, a health issue, or you change your business model. Then we obviously need to keep pace with all of that. You mentioned earlier about sort of planning forward to retirement. Well, at the moment in this country, we're lucky enough to have a state pension, of course, but it's £168 a week for most people. Obviously, it will differ, but on average, £168. How many people could live on £168 a week if they had nothing else coming in?
Sure.
And another comment I often hear is, "Oh, well, my business is my pension." Okay, that's great, but then we need to knuckle down and look at that really carefully to see, is it actually going to be your pension? If you sell your business, there may well be tax implications, there may well be charges, there may be creditors to pay back, there may be properties to sell, there may be employees to settle, sort of with redundancy or the equivalent packages. So let's have a really close eye at that to see whether that will actually work in practice. And if so, great, but again, plan for it carefully and make sure there's no hidden traps.
Sure.
Legislation's changing all the time as well. So another thing about having the regular reviews is to make sure we can keep on top of inflation. Buy-to-let investors and business people will be seeing some very rapid changes there, which is changing the face of their business and the way that they're taxed and charged. So again, keeping on top of things means that we can adapt to that if we need to, maybe sort of take a slight left turn along our normally straight path, just to make sure that we're still taking full advantage of what's out there and getting what we want to get out of our business, both now and in the future.
Yeah, exactly that. So if anybody's watching this, hopefully, or watching the replay, if there's anything specific that you'd like to find out from Alison, then please either drop myself or drop her a comment down below, and we'll obviously make sure that she sees it.
I'm going to do some fairly sort of general tips and ideas, but if there is anything that people specifically want me to focus on, I can incorporate that. I'll also be around for the morning for Q&A anyway. If people want to grab me over coffee or lunch or even afterwards, then I'll happily do that. Again, appreciating that finances are very personal, so it's not necessarily something that you'd want to air in an open forum. So in terms of lines of questioning, perhaps we should keep that fairly general, but if there's personal, very, very specific details, then I'm happy to talk. No obligation, no charge, just a free chat, which is how I would operate anyway if we did a formalised meeting. No obligation, no charge, just to see where we are and how I can help, or if indeed I can help at this stage.
Yeah, wonderful, excellent. So we're all really looking forward to hearing you speak on on the 7th of June. It is the 7th of June. It's a week on Friday.
Yes, it is. Looking forward to it too.
Just that everybody that's watching this knows, the Business Lounge is pre-booked seats only, and we do cap it as well, so that we protect the intimacy of the group and build those relationships and collaborations, which is really important. And that's kind of where it's been going for the last couple of months. So Alison's going to be our lovely guest speaker. So if anyone wants to know any more about Alison, then please feel free to drop me a PM, and I'll point you in her direction if you aren't able to come to the Business Lounge. Alison, if you want to, under this, if you pop your website link on here as well.
I will do that. Yeah, put my website and contact numbers, if that would be helpful.
Exactly. Yeah, that'd be great.
More than happy. I say, if anyone's got a general question, or there's something specifically they want me to talk about, then contact me either via or directly through my website email. Then that'd be lovely. Look forward to it.
Excellent. Well, I'm really looking forward to it. Looking forward to seeing you on the 7th, and I'll pop a link in here for anyone that wants to book onto the Business Lounge. Then you'd be more than welcome. It is open to all business owners that can get here. Really, we've got people that are coming from Surrey, Sussex, and Kent, and Essex. So you don't have to be Kent based. So that's great. Thanks, Alison. Have a fabulous day, everybody.
And you, a good day. Look forward to seeing you next week.
See you soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.